Yeah, Terry. I agree with you. Like we started off really well. Like for me, this result is not on the manager today. It's on the players because we should have won this game. We had chance after chance after chance, and we couldn't score. That's what I mean. So yeah, we started off good. Like the first goal, fantastic. Goal from Chelsea. The pass from Caicedo into Pedro Neto was superb. But then Neto made a great through on the right hand side. He saw Enzo, he passed it to him, and Enzo tapped it in 1-0 goal. And then I was like, good, we got the goal. Let's go on and score a couple more. But we didn't. Cole Palmer today, I don't know what's going on with this guy, but he could have at least scored 2 or 3 goals because the one in the first half was unlucky. So I'll give him that. But the second one, Caicedo made a great form pass into Palmer. Then Palmer, all he had to do here is get past Martinez and shoot. But he doesn't do that. It takes way too long. Like, I don't know what's going on. And in Kunku today, he started off good in the first half, but then after that, he had a stinker. And I think for me, Pedro Neto has been only our best attacker today because he was trying throughout this whole game. He was really trying. And what I will criticize Maresca is the substitutions because again, he did it late because look what Uma Enwi did. He take off Jacob Ramsey, brings on Marcus Rashford, and that's Villa with a better team, because Rashford came on and could Gusto, if you know what I mean. Because Gusto, I don't think he wasn't that bad, but he wasn't that great against. In the first half, it was good, but the second half, he was just shocking. If you look at the first goal, I think he should have at least cleared it out instead of allowing the ball go straight into Rashford for the first goal. But the second goal, man, I mean, honestly, Philip Jorgensen, I don't know why on earth he didn't manage to catch that. Like, that was shocking from him. But for me, Terry, I blame more on our attack and then our defense because the defense wasn't that bad today. Philip Jorgensen, yes, he should have done better with the second goal, but he made big saves. Like there was a time when James gave the ball away, and then Ollie Watkins shot hit the side netting, but he made great saves. So I think for me, our attack just needs to improve. But I just honestly, I'm just so tired when we don't sign any players because it's just poor, man. Like I have to tell you this, Terry. Like many people disagree with me, but if that was Jackson that Caicedo made that pass, he probably would have scored that. He probably would have scored that because Jackson scored that similar goal against West Ham when Caicedo made a full-on goal. So for me, yeah, this is what happens when you don't sign any elite goalkeeper, a striker, and a midfielder and a centre back. Because now Cherry Chalobah is injured, we've already got like Reece James, Levi Colwell, Josh Ashpong, and Kukurea. We've already got 4 defenders left. And I keep saying this, the more injuries we got, the more our squad is getting weaker and weaker and weaker, if you know what I mean. So the summer transfer window, it needs to be sorted out. We need a massive reboot because if we want to get top 4 this season, we just need to sign some players, like just sign elite players, because if we keep signing young players, it's going to take us nowhere, absolutely nowhere. So we bought it, Terry. I'm very disappointed because Bournemouth have lost against Wolves. So this was an opportunity here to finish top 4, but we failed to do so. So to me, this result is on the players than the manager today. So I'm honestly fuming, man, as always. But I don't know what to say, man. Just broken.
I hear where you're coming from. David, do you echo that? Was today more on the players than it is the manager? And if so, what players let you down today?
I believe I was here a year ago saying the same thing about these are coach won games being lost by players. And we have very similar players and we're in the same position. So does it surprise me? No, because I've been saying it since the start of the season that it's going to happen. So yeah. Today, obviously, Jorgensen makes the mistake. It's not ideal. Palmer's been second guessing himself quite a lot and he needs to do better. I know. I think Colwell needs to be stronger. I like personally, but he's a young defender, and it's kind of expected. But the whole squad's young, so these things are going to happen. So stop overestimating what we've got because that's not what we've got currently. People are rating our squad as if it's their final iteration, and it's just not at all. We're not even close to that. So, like, again, bit of perspective from everyone, and we just wouldn't be as annoyed. I'm still annoyed we lost, but I wouldn't be as annoyed because I wasn't the person putting us up with the big boys when we're not ready to be put up with the big boys. So, yeah, it's one of those games where on a different day, we probably would have won that 3-0, 3-0, 4-0.
That's just you, David, though. That's not the rest of the fan base.
I know, but I'm saying everyone in the fan base needs to get a bit of perspective about themselves and go like, look at what we've actually got and understand what we've got. Because Pedro Neto, while he is a good player, is not the final Pedro Neto who's going to be performing week in, week out. That's what we've got currently. We've got loads of players who are trying to become in their final form, but they're all 22 and 23. So have a bit of perspective of what is going on. Don't rate your player based on their best performance, rate it on their average. And the average is where we currently are. And that's fine, because that's where we probably should be. Like, genuinely, that's where the squad in its current iteration should be. And they have a plan and they're sticking to it. I don't have a problem with it. But people who are protesting have a massive problem with it. And whether they want to say it's because it's on the field or not, it's definitely because it was on the field. Because when we were 2 points away, everyone was
so you don't agree with Don that your squad is better than Liverpool and Arsenal's.
It's a completely stupid notion. Like, I don't. What do you mean? It's a stupid notion.
I cooked Don for 5 minutes today. He can't. Don is the
Don is deluded, man. Like, come on, man.
How can a team?
I think you need to change his name because it smears my name.
How can a team have four legitimate world-class players who have done it for 2 or 3, 4 years, and your squad has none of them, and you're going to put them on the same level? Doesn't make sense. Today, we created 1.5 xG before Villa even registered a shot. If that's not quite simply a player issue, then I don't know what is. Because again, for me, Maresca coached the win today, and the players let him down.
So, but can I just say one thing though? Because last season, the same exact thing happened, David. And I'm not calling out David here because David was the one who was being objective last year. Same thing happened last year at Wolves. I think you had probably more than 1.5 xG away at Wolves. Sterling had like 3 1-on-1s, missed them all. And post game, all people were criticizing was the manager. You even had more injuries last season. People say, "Oh, if Jackson." First of all, I'm not sure that Jackson would score to begin with because he has like 0 goals in 7 games. So it's not like he's been flying and scoring these goals and dominating defenses. That was Jackson at the start of the season. Jackson after that has not been the same player. When it comes to Chelsea and the conversations, it's just the problem is just the energy change. For me, last season I said Poch shouldn't have been sacked. I still say Maresca shouldn't be sacked because I don't think the manager is at fault in either case, in either scenario. Today's game, Chelsea lost to Aston Villa. I watched last season like 15 times. Same exact scenario. Chance after chance after chance. Miss them all. Create more XG. And then people go like, oh, Poch, this is Poch's fault. And then to this year, it's the same shit. So people going like, oh, Maresca. But it's the same thing. They just don't get it. They just don't understand. The reason why they're in this position is squad building. All these players are going to be amazing, incredible 3 years from now. None of them is ready now. This is just the reality. When you sign a bunch of kids, Terrace sees it with Lenny Yoro. I see it with the young players that I have. It's just the problem is you have 11 of them. That's the issue. So like even with Jorgensen, people go like, oh, Jorgensen like should start ahead of Sanchez. I think Chelsea fans have a scapegoat culture. Like, oh, this is Sanchez's fault. This is Poch's fault. This is Disasi's fault. There's always one person they need to put the blame on. Like, if I'm talking about the players today, I think Enzo Fernandez, that is, and Neto were your 2 best players on the pitch. Other than that, you can criticize the other 10. They were all crap, including Cole Palmer, who hasn't been good for a while now. Like in these like 11 games where you've got two wins, he's probably been one of your worst players considering expectations. Because I'm sorry, like, and I know I'm speaking for the Chelsea fans here, but I think even they would agree with me. When you go into a game, you're expecting more of Palmer than you are of like Gusto. So obviously, when Palmer doesn't deliver, you get more upset. Today, the chance that he had 1-on-1, like, Martinez slipped on his ass. A confident Palmer, like, from 3 months ago would have just chipped him. The chance from right outside the box, he doesn't even hit the target. Like Cole Palmer, that is. So when you put these players on a pedestal, like, oh, he's the best player in the world, he's better than this guy, he's better than that guy, they're going to be held to those standards, and even by your own fan base, not even like forget rivals and banter and all this. So I'm looking at Chelsea right now. They had the same issue that they had last year, which is not the manager. Their issue is recruitment. Their issue is the people that they've learned about this season. When I was cussing them last year, when Stanley and Stewart, I told them it's not about Poch. And as a matter of fact, I take it a step further. Just based off of like squad gelling and just based off of like the way that they've connected with each other towards the end of last season, I think they would be in a better place right now had they kept Pochettino. The reason why I say that is very simple. I think they just needed continuity. Like they just needed a little bit of continuity, just stay with the same person, hear the same voice, so you can just, get used to something. And I think they missed the chance on that by hiring Maresca. And now the reason why Boli and Iqbali is in trouble, and land on this, you gave this guy a 5-year contract. This is your guy, essentially. Like, this is it. Maresca's the guy that you hired to be your guy. He's going to be the guy that takes you forward. You can't sack him now. There is no scenario, in my opinion, where Chelsea sack Maresca. I genuinely don't see it because I don't see them getting relegated. I don't see them, finishing 12th or something. Regardless where they finish this season, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, they're going to keep him because he's their guy. So they have to back him in the public eye. But the truth of the matter is, it's a different year and it's the same exact problems at Chelsea, which I called out last season, which is not manager. Players underperforming, recruitment. That's just the reality.
I tell you what I am most shocked about today. I can't believe out of all three of the teams from the top 6, Man United, Arsenal, and Chelsea that played today, Man United have come out of it the most positive result. And that's the thing I'm probably most shocked about today. And we were dog shit for large parts of that game. But yeah, look, I get where you're coming from. I do, Hassan, when you say that. And I don't know whether I think Poch made a lot of mistakes last year. I think a lot of goodwill was used up as an example, and they moved him on. But I do think, and maybe I'm guilty of this as well, I think I felt this Chelsea squad was better than it actually is. That's something I have to hold my hands up for. I thought they were better than they actually are. And sometimes you lose sight of this, but when you go through adversity or when the expectation changes, when you go from being a team that might push for the top 4 to could be in a title race, I think there's a different expectation, there's a different media attention, maybe there's a different thought process and feeling within the dressing room. I think all of that plays a part in this. And look, I'm not saying I'm for or against the protests. I don't really understand them fully at the moment. And I say that because I understand parts of them, but then I keep hearing Chelsea fans say it's nothing to do with what's going on the pitch. But when they start being asked about their reasonings, it always ends up about, recruitment of players. Well, that must have something to do with...
Very. The protest is about performances on the pitch.
Of course, it has to be.
People are just sick of waiting. No one wants to see their squad build up. Everyone just wants to see their final squad tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear that. Winter Surfer, obviously a disappointing result for you today, mate. It really was. Everyone really has said on the panel so far, this was the players letting you guys down today. A couple of players that stood out, the Jorgensen mistake in goal, Palmer having another poor game by his standards. What's wrong with some of these players at the moment, in your opinion?
Maybe believe in their own hype after the first season and a half. I don't know why Palmer's didn't slot that right away. The goalkeeper even slipped. Do you know what I mean? And he'd still decided to take an extra touch. He doesn't do that. Sam's right. Look at that goal against Wolves earlier season where he just chipped it over the goalkeeper.
The goal against Brighton.
It's I don't know what it is. Jorgensen, people that stream me know I've been for 2 years I've been banging on get a goalkeeper because you can't have a project in goal. You just can't. And if we weren't going to win, the goalkeeper can't make a mistake and we walk out there with a point. And Gusto, yeah, it's just those 3 moments. Like I said, I'm not going to blame Maresca really for this. Even the subs, it's like you look back and you go, which I did have sympathy for Poch last season when he looked back in the subs and they were like 9 NPCs, 2 of them goalkeepers. It's like I don't know what more the manager could do today. Like you said, I know we're gonna concede chances, but when you actually hand them to the opposition, that's the most frustrating part. Villa, I think overall a point was probably fair between the 2 sides. Villa had chances, but I'm not like Jorgensen had a couple of saves in the first half, really nothing in the second and stuff like that. And we didn't really test Martinez really that much. But I'm just like, as a goalkeeper, you can't. And then the most frustrating thing is they picture over to Sanchez like I'm supposed to go, oh yeah, bring Sanchez in goal. And someone said, it's like what are we doing? It's like the Spider-Man meme. It's just literally put a turd in the hood, literally on my screen, because that's all it is when it comes to goalkeepers. But Terry, I've seen 20 years of great goalkeepers at my club, and even Mendy for a year and a bit was a good goalkeeper, and now it's like you cannot have project goalkeeper and a project striker or project forwards. You cannot do it. The goalkeeper is supposed to bail you out on something like that. I mean, so I don't know what noise that is in the background.
Yeah,
Someone's like,
if you're not talking, if you could keep yourself on mute for us, that'd be amazing. That stops all the background.
It wasn't even
noise.
a hard. You know what? That wasn't even a hard shot. It was right at him. It wasn't even a hard shot, and yeah, we come out with not even a point, because I would, if you'd offered me a point before the game, I would have taken it. You know what I mean? It's not, but yeah, and like this is how I think mediocre after the first couple of league wins is. We're still in the mix for this even after this loss, because Newcastle and Forest play tomorrow, and City and Liverpool play tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? We're still in it. We're still in this race, even with 2 back-to-back losses, which shows the levels of the teams around are very even. Do you know what I mean? And we have. I'm sorry, but no matter, I don't care what anyone says. But from the next 2 games, I must win for this team. No matter what, they must win. They have to be at home.
Well, you got Southampton. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I cannot imagine you.
That's what I mean. No drop points unless the game after as well.
Yeah, that should be back-to-back 6 points for you. If it isn't, I think things could get really, really poisonous. A few super chats here. First one from